Hey guys, Shane Wood, General Manager from Port Orchard Ford, and I'm down here at Safos, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And today I wanted to introduce you to this new gym and its owners, Albin Doherty and Ryan Cole, the black belt coach that's teaching all sorts of people some pretty amazing moves. Come on inside, we're gonna learn what they're trying to accomplish here and show you around the gym. Come on in. Hey guys, okay, so I'm down here in the gym on the mat. We're not wrestling, I promise. These guys, I'm not messing with these guys. But I've got Albin Doherty and Brian Cole. First of all, thanks for having us in the gym and showing us around. I'm really excited about this.
We're excited to have you, Shane. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Absolutely. So a couple of things. Safos Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Tell me about that name. Like, walk me through Safos, what it means, and then how you guys kind of arrived on that name.
We came from a gym with, a certain name to it, and it had meaning to that person. But for me, I didn't want something cheesy or something that defined where we were at, and just something generic. I wanted something that really meant something to me. So I had talked with Brian about this thing that has always held a certain power or like feeling in my heart that I like to carry myself a certain way. So Safos means with respect, with care, with safety.
Yeah.
It's used almost as like a protection barrier for something that's dear to you. And I wanted us to represent our people, our tribe, this art that we practice with that love and that respect and that care. So it just seemed like the most fitting, more than taking an animal and saying that we're this, we're
Right.
Phoenix.
Yeah, right.
It just meant a lot. And I think if other people saw how much we cared, like they're gonna start caring that much too, and it's gonna give to them the way it's given to us.
Get my jiu-jitsu
applesauce
going on.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that the meaning, the name should have some meaning. So you guys practiced at another gym prior. You met there, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That deal didn't work out. That gym's no longer open. So you went from like workout buddies to like, you know what? We're not going to say goodbye to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Port Orchard. It's too important. It's too valuable. It means too much. So you guys stepped up and you started a business, and now you're doing this thing. Tell me, how did that develop? Like, I mean, how did we arrive right here?
Oh, it was kind of a crazy experience. I served in the military, so I had a certain tribe, and went through certain experiences, and I started gaining that at this place we were training at, where I had to trust these guys with my life, that you're not going to maim me. I'm going to get to work, afterwards.
Right.
You're not going to snap my arm. You're going to let go of that choke. And I got this trust with people, and this thing that I hadn't had in quite a long time. I didn't know I was missing it. And once I got it, I was like, this is so special to me. So when we lost that tribe and lost this art that we got to practice, it meant everything for me to preserve it. And the best way that I was able to was to give my business and financial advice, and to reach out to someone like Brian that I trusted, and that he could give his wisdom and leadership on like what we were doing. So that's how it kind of started with, our guys talking. Our buddy Matt McGinnis had a big get together, and he's kind of like a glue for us. He gathered people together. We got to talking and start sorting through like, how do we stay together? And it was crazy. We were training in Thor's garage. We're in backyards of Joe's house. Like, it was a really crazy time for us, but you could see that passion was so much there that I was like, no matter how much I have to put out, what I have to do, this makes sense.
Wow.
Like, because we're willing to do this in someone's backyard for free.
Yeah.
And Brian was willing to go instruct and teach and do all that. So it was beautiful.
So on your side, like, okay, you've got a whole other life.
I actually just moved up here at the first of the year.
Yeah.
I moved up to Port Orchard at the first of the year. I had some opportunity just to come up here. I've always liked the area. And then I went to it. The first thing I did was sign up to a gym. Was there for 3 months. I'd only talked to Albin a couple times at the gym, maybe wrestled once, we were hanging out, and then I went to go to class one day. The gym was closed. Literally went to a barbecue later that evening. We brainchild the whole gym. I hadn't got a job, like a solid job yet up here, even though it was out there. You know, I was an IT guy.
Yeah, right.
You know, and then jujitsu, I also taught jujitsu back home, but not as like, I wasn't the owner / head instructor there at all. You know, shout out to Keith Asbury.
Yeah.
And you know, they gave me the knowledge it would be, so I would feel comfortable like helping these guys out when it came to it. You know, I wouldn't have said yeah if I was like, no, there's no way I didn't want to do that. It's way too much responsibility for what people are. But I don't know, the community here is super tight, and I actually came in and looked at the kids class first to judge like the kids class. How many good parents do you have that put their kids in it? You know, I need to see if the school is good. And so that's what even made me start. And the community itself was super great.
Wow. What a just a fortunate set of events when you think about the business savvy and capability that Albin obviously brings to the table, and then a stone cold black belt with we'll get into a little bit of some of your just reputation from another state, and like, I mean, what a perfect like scenario. You know, we've talked a lot with others and a little with Albin about sometimes the worst thing that you could imagine happening ends up being the greatest like blessing that could have possibly happened. And so I tell you what, for the community, I'm really glad that you guys found each other, and then, you know, just these circumstances have created this thing. So let's talk about, you know, you have kids classes, you have some pretty just a super diverse group of people that come in here and practice. What are you guys ultimately trying to accomplish here and bring to Port Orchard and this Kitsap County community in this school?
I think from the teaching standpoint and the business standpoint, from my perspective, I'm looking to just make sure that the community has like what they've been promised, as, you know, part of what they've been promised at the past. But even though those aren't my promises, the jiu-jitsu community, like as a whole, not just this little place, as a whole, dictates these things that we're trying to bring out. Like, it's just how it's supposed to be, you know, honesty in people, raising good kids, creating a safe place for people to come and bring their kids, creating the trust that should have been there the whole time, you know, not being secretive, not being, you know, giving, not having the cult type mentality, you know, making sure that there is a you know, 65-year-old woman that can train here along with a 20-year-old young man that is on, you know, the NCAA wrestling team. All these people have their intended roles, but they all can do them under the same umbrella and have like the space that they're supposed to have.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, when you hear the brotherhood or the sisterhood, or when you hear Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community, I just want to clarify this. There might be people out there who don't necessarily feel like they're part of the community, or that's necessarily something they identify with, right? But what I found when I was practicing is that you are one of us right when you jump in and come on the mat, right? I mean, it's like that quick. And what would you say to someone who like would love to have the workout, would love to learn a new skill, but maybe is like hesitant because I don't even own a gi, I'm not really
So for me, people wonder who belongs in jiu-jitsu and who doesn't. And I think one of the times when I promoted, I had kind of told some people that if you're weak, you'll become stronger. If you're strong, you'll be humbled. If you don't have friends, you'll have a tribe. If you're getting bullied, you'll learn how to carry yourself with a certain dignity and respect that shouldn't happen as much. So there's no one that this doesn't fit for.
Right.
The most out of shape person, they're the most motivating to me because they're battling maybe for their life.
Right.
We've had guys that were on kidney dialysis, missing toes, but that man was there to save his life. It wasn't to win a medal. But we will accommodate someone that wants to compete or wants that medal. If someone wants to get in shape, lose weight, any of it, like they all belong.
Yeah, so the spectrum of like, you guys were just telling me in the gym, you have some like super athletes, some real deal competitors. And then on the other side, you have young kids, girls. I mean, the whole slew of them and everything in the middle. So That's what I love, right? That's
Yeah.
community. So good for you. Okay. Tell me, you guys, again, fortunate. You connect, and then you happen to find like a facility that's bigger than the older one, probably is way better. We don't have the ability. We'll have some B-roll that'll show off a little bit, but like, tell me about this facility, and then I'd really love to hear more about you, some of your background, and what you bring as the head coach here at some Safos. Jeez, my dyslexia. Yeah, talk to me about that.
Well, being in the community and running a couple different businesses here, I'm always kind of looking at spaces, and I had help from our friend Sam Smith, Josephine's Revival. She started making some calls for me. Me and Brian just went crazy on like going to every space. We went into stuff that was just wild, like, super industrial, and like, where is this? We were all over the place, and this one came up, and it just felt right. It felt like home. It was crazy though, because it used to be a tanning salon, and there was so much
It's not built
walls
like a gym
and
right off
a mess, and you couldn't really see it, and you had to know, hey, this could be it. It fits all the criteria: parking, location, all the math was there. But when you looked in it, you're like, oh no, there's a lot to unpack and like fix. So me and him went wild on fixing it, and we had great support. It was hard to always get everyone to line up at the same times, but I would go crazy hard. Like, there's times where I would get here in the morning and not leave till the next morning. And then, I don't know, I did everything I could. He did everything he could. And Brian was also so slick with like getting all the logistics on paperwork. I mean, mapping things out. And between our skill sets, we got a lot accomplished in light speed, warp speed time.
Right.
We had some help. One of our friends, Madison, she trains with us. Her boyfriend Sai came in and helped me spray out some stuff and mask up this place. And so, yeah, I mean, like, my wife
great.
supported like tons. There's so much community that's not just on these mats. It's all the family and all that like came together, to coordinate and do what, they could do. My buddy, Ty, helped me with electrical stuff, and it's just, that made it
nice
happen.
to be an important and, active member of this town.
Such a blessing.
Yeah.
The biggest blessing you could have.
Yeah. So Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about like, okay, your journey through jiu-jitsu. Now you're a black belt. Prior gym had a purple belt. So immediately, there's a level of experience here that wasn't there before.
So I first came just to train. Like I just bought a membership. Sorry, I added that in there, the name. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But I came up there just to train, and I wanted to train. I came in super humble, like I feel somebody should. It's not my house. I should just learn to do everything everybody else has. I'm not special. I have more experience there. That's it. After this presented itself, people started asking about me, what the lineage was, and one of the things I do is I make myself super like accessible to everybody. Everything from like we all had, the first thing I requested was for everybody to have a background check ran that's going to be teaching or working with anybody in here. So we had background checks around with everybody. And then after like the main stuff was done, everybody started like checking on me, And so in Utah, I trained at a place called Tooele Martial Arts Academy. It's kind of faded, but small town, Tooele, Tooele. And I started there, just like I was telling you off camera. My wife had to sign me up because I was chicken to do jujitsu. The guys were all beating each other up in the window. And then I started going, and it got to a point where like he had to pay me or like make me leave. And so first he gave me a key, and then that wasn't good enough because then like the alarm would always go off type of thing. And so it was just pay me to do classes instead. And then I just started teaching classes. So Keith is my coach, and he's about a year and a half older than me in jiu-jitsu years. And then Professor Gustavo Rodriguez is our black belt, and he's a third degree black belt with like 30 plus years of experience. And so I actually talked to him right after I talked to Albin, and we decided to like go full speed ahead. I called my Professor Gustavo on the phone and said, hey, this is what I'm looking at doing. It's a good community. I just need your kind of blessing. I can't, people are going to like talk to you.
Yeah, right.
And so, I need you to know that I'm doing this because people are going to like ask you about me. And so he was like, yeah, I'm 100% for it. And so he runs like 5 schools out of Utah. He's an affiliate.
Wow.
So he runs his own school plus like One Hit MMA, Twila Martial Arts Academy. There's a couple other places he trains for. Gladiator Fight Academy, a bunch of other schools. And so he's a real close friend of mine. And I've known him since like a year after he moved to the United States. And so I took over a bunch of his classes at our Twila gym, and I've been teaching ever since. And I've literally leveled up like a video game.
Yeah, right.
Just ever since. I've done various tournaments. I stopped competing after about purple belt. I won the state championship purple belt. I won now, got blue belt, white belt, like some grappling industry stuff.
Sure.
But I would rather, like, I'm 45 or in 2 weeks. And so now it's to the point where if I'm doing 5 hours or 4 hours of jiu-jitsu, like I like to like help people do jiu-jitsu, like I can still roll. And I'm one of the instructors that does still roll with all of my students. Like you could pick a roll with me every single day that you come down here if you're a student. So I don't like exclude myself. Like there's a lot of professors that just exclude themselves.
Sure.
And so, I, welcome to encourage people that come up. But my Utah family, where I come from, has been super supportive. I mean, they taught me all the stuff Alvin was talking about. Keith started his gym from the ground up, which, role modeled me for the stuff I needed when Albert presented his stuff to me. Right. And so it just made it nice that I come from a gym that was like wholesome and good into this batch of gym that probably the ingredients were really good, but like the chefs weren't that great.
Right. Yeah. So what I've heard, obviously, again, another blessing to have you up here. First of all, welcome to town,
Hey, thank you.
to the community, and now you're out teaching. Jiu-jitsu is not for just someone who wants to do mixed martial arts. It's a great workout. It's a great way to network and meet new people. I mean, you'll learn new skills. Lessons, like if you put your kids into this thing, just an amazing add-on to what you're trying to do as a parent. Like there's just so many benefits.
Oh, absolutely. I it's not even a joke really. I say it in a joking manner that me learning to fight better that's just like the cherry on top, because it's polishing my mind, body, and soul. Like it's how it feels for me.
Yep.
And I want everyone to experience that and know that. And that it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to do it. And I've done all kinds of cool stuff, and I've done a lot of dumb stuff through my life. So I know like both spectrums of both sides of making foolish choices and great choices. Yeah. And this was one of them. And for Brian to, be here, like, pushing that on to the next people, it's an amazing thing.
So, anyone who's watching this, if I wanted to get more info, ask a question, or just join, like where would you what do they do?
You'd go to www.safoosbjj.com, and it literally has our embedded schedule on there. If you just want to sign up right there, it has the links. It's no contracts, but it is subscription. Cancel any times just through Square. It's not through anything weird. It's $140 for adults, $125 for kids, and that's unlimited jiu-jitsu for the week. Starting in July, it'll be just Monday through Friday, everyday jiu-jitsu. And so
open mats on Saturday
as well.
Bring your friends and family.
Everybody signs a waiver. There's a map on there as well. There's links to our Instagram and Facebook on that page as well. There's a contact page on there. If you send a message on that, I personally answer those messages. And so we have punch passes available. We have drop-in fees for one time available. We have anything to suit anybody. And if you're just looking to take the class and figure what it's like, come and talk to me. I'm physically the one who teaches the class.
Yep. And so I didn't really say so on the intro. It's right next to GNC, right here in the little Mile Hill Plaza where Albertsons is and Burger King. You pull in. There's not a lot of signage. There is some brand on the window when you get up close. But yeah, pop in, check out a class, get on the website and sign up. Thank you guys for having me, man.
It's
a
really pleasure, cool. Brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
Grateful to have you guys in the community, and I just can't wait to see more and more people talking about Safos and all they're learning in this new community that's thriving in Port Orchard. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Brother.
Awesome.
Appreciate that.
Right on. We'll see you guys next time.